There's a lot to go through in the story today as we say good morning to you. I'm Bill Hemmer, and welcome here to America's Newsroom. Off we go. Martha, morning.
Bill, good morning, everybody. I'm Martha MacCallum. So last night there were dozens
Too about what you can ask a witness, and apparently you can file them with the prosecutor, and if they pertain to the case, the prosecutor can go ahead and ask these questions to the witnesses. That is not the case in Ferguson. So two very different legal rules here between these grand juries in Missouri and New York.
And they also, looked in depth at the autopsy report where there were a number of reasons listed for death. Chokehold has been the name that has been given to this case, but when you look into some of the details of how they say he died, there's some questions about that too. So obviously it's a heartbreaking, sad case, and everybody feels for the Garner family in this case, but the grand jury made the decision they made, and we're going to kind of take it apart and look at it throughout the course of the morning.
You got about a week to do this. Lindsey Graham's coming up on all this.
That's the way they always do it, right? We never do anything that deals with the budget until it's at least 24 to 48 hours until the deadline.
30 minutes away on Senator Graham. In the meantime, we're watching this. The window goes about 10 a.m. Eastern time. This thing's going 3,000 miles into space.
Pretty amazing, right?
And then coming back down with a parachute with a lot of heat packed behind it. So we'll see it later.
Indeed we will. In the meantime, another scandal could be rocking the IRS after a watchdog group found out that they forked over some private individual taxpayer information and gave it to the White House. We're going to ask the man in charge of the group why they're refusing to let him see what is in those papers.
Also,
and here we go again, an American hostage in the hands of al-Qaeda's. So the House is getting ready to vote on a plan that would keep the government up and running. It has to be decided by December 11th. And while challenging the president's immigration action is part of all of that, not all lawmakers think that that's the way to keep amnesty at bay. We're going to talk to Senator Lindsey Graham coming up in a few minutes. See what he thinks. But thank goodness he had his phone. I don't rarely say that about teenagers and their phones. But he could have been stuck in there and nobody would have known where he was, and they would have been looking everywhere.
Yeah,
that could have been a worse outcome.
Just think of a big open space.
Just think of that big open space, except I'm in a chimney.
Easy for you to say. All right, 16 minutes.
Well, Hillary Clinton not exactly drawing a big crowd.
Tomorrow, too, right? We thought we were going to get it today, but it did not happen. So stand by.
Good luck.
Texas leading.
Hour now of America's Newsroom. I'm Martha MacCallum.
And I'm Bill Hemmer. Good morning. That grand jury past the hour now. So we wait to see what happens at nightfall. These protests, there were several hundred in the street. We can say that, mostly around Times Square. Largely peaceful. There was no vandalism.
Absolutely.
And the police chief came out days ago and said that's not going to happen in our town.
And they kept things very organized. You got to give them a lot of credit for how they handled it last night, and also the people in the street were also peaceful and law-abiding as well. So let's hope that keeps up. All right, so a chokehold, as we have just discussed with Peter King, is banned under NYPD.
Remember on election night after he won, he came on Fox News, and the first thing out of his mouth was, I just won Cuyahoga County 2-1.
Yep.
Well, Cuyahoga County is 3-1 Democrats to Republicans, and that will be a big pitch if he gets in this race that he can win on both sides.
Yeah, indeed it will. And he's right to put off your questions and prolong the process, because we're going to talk about Hillary Clinton and whether or not inevitability is hurting her as everybody tries to kind of pace themselves ahead of this big election that's down the pipe. All right, this is an awful story that we have this morning. An American kindergarten teacher stabbed to death at a shopping mall in the Middle East, and now there is an...
Thank you.
Well, the police officer involved in... It was Bo's birthday.
Wow.
Did he mention that on the way out?
I think he blew out all the candles when he was here.
I think so, too. Happening downstairs right now. Bye, everybody.